All right, we got Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. This should be a great fight as well. I'm just coming off this Hamzat victory. That was some wild stuff. Um, it was very interesting to see the Darce choke being applied on Kevin Holland, considering that he has Darce choke victories himself. There's a guy named Malachi Friedman, and I can't recommend his instructional enough. It's called the Darce Killer, and it's all different ways to defend the Darce choke. And every other submission, the common knowledge of the defense is way up here, and the common knowledge of the Darce choke is way down here. I mean, if there's one submission people don't know how to defend, it's the Darce choke. Which makes it such a powerful tool to use, and why it's becoming more popular in jiu-jitsu, why it's becoming more popular in MMA. And you get a good wrestler like Hamzat who can really understand the underhook and overhook game, how it's explained in wrestling, because there's so much of an emphasis on that for takedowns. When you add the Darce choke in there to his already good knowledge of that underhook versus overhook position, it becomes an even more devastating submission, and even more so a reason to defend it. But anyway, we are about to watch Nate Diaz versus Tony Ferguson. That should be an interesting fight. Nate Diaz is just getting the final Vaseline on his face, and you see Nick Diaz, his brother, in the background. Always, always a good thing to see the brother supporting him. And one of my favorite things about seeing these guys fight, Nick or Nate Diaz, is the props that they give their brother, and they're really, really loyal to family. So gotta respect and appreciate that. But as far as Nate and Tony Ferguson, these are two absolute dogs. They don't tap to anything. They don't get uh, they don't quit for any reason. All right, the tail of the tape here. Nate's 37 versus Tony's 38. Nate's 6 feet tall. Tony Ferguson is 5'11". They're both 171 pounds. And Tony Ferguson has half an inch reach advantage at 76.5 inch reach. Everything's pretty much virtually identical, but what separates these guys is their ridiculous mentality of never quit, never give up, and that they are absolute OGs and veterans of the game. Now, it is a bit interesting because I believe both of these guys are actually on a bit of a losing streak. I know Tony Ferguson has lost, I believe, his last 3 fights in a row, which is rare to see you headlining after you've lost 3 fights in a row. And obviously, there was some changes made to this card. And Nate had, what was Nate's last fight? Let me see here. Nate Diaz's last fight. It was with Leon Edwards, and Leon Edwards won, who's now the champion. And before that, it was Jorge Masvidal, and Jorge Masvidal KO'd him. So Nate's on a 2-fight losing streak, and Tony Ferguson is on a 3-fight losing streak, and nobody gives a shit because everyone loves these two fighters. They are absolute dogs. They don't give up, and you might be here to witness a complete bloodbath and an execution of one of these men. So everyone's here for it. This is as close as it gets to the gladiatorial arena. And both of these guys are psychopaths, as you could see by Tony's hairdo. I'm also always a big Eddie Bravo fan. Love Eddie Bravo. He's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, jiu-jitsu icons. And Tony Ferguson got his jiu-jitsu black belt from Eddie Bravo, a high honor. Nate Diaz got his jiu-jitsu black belt from Cesar Gracie, though, who I have good friends that train over at Cesar Gracie's academy. So high-level jiu-jitsu lineage on both fronts, and Nate with more of a traditional style boxing where he emphasizes high amounts of volume, and Tony Ferguson with a real unorthodox striking routine, does a little Wing Chun, does a little Kung Fu, does a little boxing, does a little kickboxing, does a little bit of it all. I gotta sneeze. Yeah. I just had a soup with a lot of pepper in it, so it's still right here in my nose. All right. It looks like the fight's about to start in a matter of seconds. They're both doing their final couple bounces. Mark Goddard says, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And fight. They both come out to the center of the octagon, and they're both throwing strikes at each other's head. That's the name of the game. They're both kind of switching stances here, switching stances. Oh, Tony Ferguson with a crazy spinning elbow. That is a great maneuver utilized by Tony Ferguson a lot. Oh, and he goes and he sort of like ankle picks Nate. Nate falls back, and Tony looking for the head kick as well. I believe Tony Ferguson's last fight, he got brutally head kick KO'd for, I believe, the first time in his career he's ever been KO'd against Michael Chandler. So let's see how his chin is, because sometimes you don't recover so well from a knockout as recent as that. Even though Nate was never known for a crazy ability to knock people out with power, but he is known for being able to wear you down and take you into deep waters and drown you. Here we have 3 minutes 45 seconds into this first round, and you could tell that this fight is going to go a couple rounds. These guys are not going to quit. Tony Ferguson with a nice cross to Nate's face. If I had to pick, I'd say Tony Ferguson is kind of dictating more of the action here as he is in the center of the octagon. Oh, and something going on with the leg of Tony Ferguson. He's bleeding pretty badly from his shin here. What a kind of unorthodox injury that Tony Ferguson has. Interesting. I wonder how that happened and how that will play a factor in the fight. Nate Diaz throwing a strong leg kick, and Tony Ferguson doing some crazy footwork here. Both of these guys are definitely unique in their own ways here. I wonder how that injury happened, though, and how that will play out in the rest of the fight. I think Nate senses it, and Tony's really trying to play it off with his crazy footwork and tactics. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left here in the first round. And man, that is some brutal stuff there. It's like Tony was sliced open somehow. Oh, and you could see something's going wrong with that leg. He's kind of hopping on it wrong. And I think Nate senses it. Some buffering action in the stream here that Tony Ferguson has. Nate's pointing at him, and when Nate starts pointing at you, a lot of times that's when he knows that he's got you. So a crazy happenstance here from Tony. Tony had a crazy injury to his knee before, and I wonder if that's somehow involved. He was doing some crazy warm-ups, moving around like a madman out there. Oh, and then Nate's starting to kick out his legs and starting to land more due to the fact that Tony can't do his standard footwork. But Tony's improvising, adapting, and overcoming as he does. That's one of Tony's specialties. Oh, Nate Diaz picking him apart with some beautiful boxing here. Beautiful boxing by Nate. Really, really nice stuff here. Oh, and Tony Ferguson hits Nate, but I think Tony Ferguson is just has so much blood on his leg that he just got it on Nate Diaz. This fight was was ready to be crazy from the beginning, and let's see here how Nate can capitalize on this injury to Tony Ferguson's leg. This is some crazy stuff. Nate Diaz coming forward with some boxing, and Tony seems to be throwing a lot of spinning techniques where he could sort of um, kind of mask this injury that he has on his leg here. It seems like this fight's going to see a second round, and Nate sort of inviting Tony to walk forward and step forward towards him, kind of knowing that he has this injury. Very interesting stuff here in this first round and how this transpired. So let's see how Tony got this injury. Ah, okay, yep. So it looks like Tony threw a really, really hard leg kick, and just the way that Nate checked it, it looks like that's what opened the slice in his leg. And beautiful adaptations here by Nate, too, showing that he's a true veteran and being able to understand the weak point of Tony Ferguson here in the footwork and being able to exploit that through his boxing style. I would love personally to see if this fight made it to the ground. I think, I mean, I don't know who would have the advantage there, but I wonder if it would be beneficial to one guy or the other, how these scrambles would look on the ground. Sometimes it feels like Tony can't seem to get a break in his career and in these fights recently, where he went on some crazy, winning streak, winning over 10 fights, and now he's been on a losing streak of 3 fights in a row, and it's not looking good for him in this fourth. Wow. Nate Diaz passes John Jones for ninth most significant strikes in UFC history. Interesting. And Tony Ferguson is dancing around on this leg, looking like he's going to throw a lot of spinning stuff, as Nate Diaz famously said. So we're throwing spinning shit now. Because he could pivot on one foot on his good leg here. 4 minutes, 15 seconds in the second round. And some nice counter boxing here from Nate Diaz. And Nate Diaz is patient. It's not like Nate Diaz has to finish this fight in this round. He's the exact opposite of a Hamza Chimaev, where his strength really comes from his endurance. But I wonder if Tony will be able to improvise and adapt and overcome here, where he will simply mentally get used to the fact that he has this injury on his leg, and he will come back even stronger, where he will just mentally block it out and be able to overcome this injury. Very, very interesting stuff here from both guys. Ooh, some nice shots right down the middle from Tony Ferguson on Nate Diaz's face here. 3 minutes, 12 seconds left in the second round. And as I was saying, it looks like Tony Ferguson is beginning to put something together here in overcoming this injury that he has. Great, great stuff, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Please make sure to throw some comments in the comments section. I try to respond to everybody that comments. Nate seems to be throwing these kicks, and Tony has caught them several times, and that's something to be aware of for Nate here. You can't be hopping on one leg for too long. And Tony, the crazy MFer that he is, he's throwing leg kicks on his one good leg. Oh, beautiful boxing here from Nate. Straight down the middle with those 1-2s. Great stuff. Oh, and he cut Tony open with one of those 1-2s. 2 minutes 10 seconds left here. You see the similarity in his style, like his brother Nick Diaz when he fought Robbie Lawler. Just the clean boxing. Oh, and interesting little clinch there. It looked like a little bit of a slip from Tony Ferguson, but also due to the fact that he does have that injured leg. Tony was complaining too about the UFC and getting health care for the fighters, and at some point being able to recover from some leg injury. So I feel him on that one. Leg injuries suck. And to have another one in the middle of the fight, or actually even in the first round of the fight, first couple seconds of the first round, and to have to deal with that throughout the duration of the fight when you've already had injured legs is difficult. You see him still sort of hopping around here. He's clearly not 100% with this leg injury. 1 minute left here in round 2, and Nate really cut him open on the eye, and you see Tony Ferguson wearing some of the damage from Nate's boxing. Nate really employing kind of a hands down style, but I guess he brings them up when the distance is in range of when Tony's going to throw techniques. It's tough too, because I'm sure a big part of Tony's strategy was to throw kicks in this fight to combat Nate Diaz's boxing, but it's going to be tough to beat Nate Diaz in a boxing fight. Or what do? Do you throw leg kicks then with your injured leg? It's a difficult quandary to be in if you're Tony Ferguson. 5 seconds left in the second round. And Nate's pointing at him. The classic Nate point. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's the second round. Of course, I'll keep streaming. But throw something in the comments section. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the fight so far and my commentary. And much love to everyone out there. Yeah, you see a nice solid cut above the right eye of Tony Ferguson here. The cut man's working on it, putting some Vaseline in it. Not the worst cut of all time, but enough to certainly be annoying. Oh, wait a minute. It's actually 2 cuts. I stand corrected. It's one here on the eye, and then one under the eyebrow and above the eyelid. That could be a bit annoying. Of course, it's never good to have blood in your eyes. If you have blood in your eyes for too long, you will lose your vision in your eyes permanently. But in a fight like this, of course, they're going to wash his eyes out as soon as the fight's over, but it's blinding while it's in the middle of the fight. So a great place to throw an elbow or throw a technique is right around the eye, the eyelid, and above the eyebrow here, because there's not a lot of skin. I mean, there's not a lot of meat there. It's only skin and skull. So it's fairly easy to cut open and bleed into the eyes, which is a great tactic for that many fighters use. We're into the third round here. 4 minutes, 38 seconds left of the third round. And good stuff all around. You'd have to wonder, Nate was saying Khamzat was afraid of him. But man, Nate here just does not seem to be putting on the same performance that Khamzat had. I mean, it's just so impressive that Khamzat's able to go out there and dominate the way that he is. It seems spectacular and completely amazing. Danny Lope. I'm going to try to translate what you said, Danny, because I do not speak that language. We got 3 minutes, 45 seconds left in this third round. Tony not looking so great on this leg here. Okay. Denny says, and the fight, are they going to be seeing the face? I don't know. I don't know. Um, Tony Ferguson has a cut above his eye, but they are both okay. I mean, after you've been fighting so long like these guys, you begin to get scar tissue in that area. Ooh, Tony Ferguson comes in with a wild elbow. And when you have scar tissue in this area, it is much easier to cut open and bleed. 2 minutes, 31 seconds left in this third round. Both fighters still managing distance and managing range. And Tony Ferguson really running away from Nate's boxing here. And Nate saying something to, maybe it looks like Dana White, or in the middle of the fight, he just starts to have a conversation with somebody. I guess that's classic Nate Diaz. Oof. Crazy spinning back fist there from Tony Ferguson. And you see Tony Ferguson really kind of running away from Nate. Nate really walking forward, marching forward, and starting to put the pressure on Tony. And it looks like Tony's feeling it. Nate doing this thing where he leans over and puts his hands on his knees. It's not really the best look. Um, but I think it's his way of humiliating his opponent, which, that's just Nate Diaz's style. Oh, a nice stiff jab there from Nate Diaz right in the eye. I think it actually cut Tony's other eye open. Man, these guys are so tough, it's ridiculous. "27 seconds left." I wonder why Nate's putting his hands on his hips. I wonder, is he tired at all? Or is that just to make fun of Tony Ferguson? 10 seconds left in round 3. And a nice stiff 1-2 there from Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz holding on to the side of the fence and using some crazy antics I've never seen ever performed in a fight before. If you guys are watching with the volume, I can't put the volume on because I'll get copyrighted. Please let me know what Nate Diaz said in those moments where he's talking to Dana White in the middle of the fight, or whoever he was talking to. Please throw it in the chat. In a way, it feels almost bittersweet here for Tony Ferguson. Nate, I believe, is clearly winning and in charge of this fight. And it seems just like Tony can't seem to get a break in the octagon, I hate to even reference this fight, but when Tony fought Justin Gaethje, Justin Gaethje just put a beating on him, and that was, I believe, his first loss in this losing streak that he's on. And unfortunately, I mean, it kills me to say, but I just don't know if you could ever say Tony Ferguson was the same after that. He really took so much punishment in that fight, and even Joe Rogan remarked how he did not look like himself in the end of that fight. All right, we're here into round number 4. 4 minutes, 20 seconds left in this round. There are, of course, 5-minute rounds. Both guys standing in the orthodox, and then Nate switches to southpaw. It's interesting to see too legends like this, who you generally associate the older fighters that are close to 40, which these guys are. Um, particular are kind of particular about their stance, where they learned how to fight in one stance and they fight out of that one stance. And you see the newer guys are able to fight out of multiple stances. But in this fight, you see a crazy stance switching from both guys. So it seems like these legends are still evolving with the modern day fighters. Oof, a nice stiff jab there from Nate, and he's really sort of like hunting Tony Ferguson down here, not giving him any room to breathe, and looking to overwhelm and drown Tony Ferguson. This makes me so curious how, oh my God, nice, beautiful boxing here from Nate. If Nate could get off some combination, just keep going with those punches, man, I could see that he could end the show here. Nate doing the thing where he puts his hands on his legs again. But man, just a really nice long combination from Nate here, just picking him apart on the fence. That could close the show here, I think, with Tony Ferguson. Nate going to the body. And, oh, a nice takedown here from Tony Ferguson. Oh, and a guillotine here from Nate. He's having trouble connecting his hands, though. And what happened? Did Tony Ferguson tap from the guillotine? What happened? The referee just jumped in and stopped it. I've seen this strategy employed by Nate before, where he beats you up with the boxing, and then when you shoot in, he finishes you with the guillotine. But we need a replay on that. We need a replay. We demand a replay. All right, here's the replay. Nate Diaz coming forward. Great hooks. And Nate attempts the guillotine, but show me a tap. Show me why the fight was stopped. Don't tell me they don't have a showing of the finish. Oh, here we go. Here's a better angle. Oh, there's the clear tap. There it is. Wow. Interesting, too. On some of these guillotine variations, if you're able to get what's called a high wrist, where you're able to go all the way around the neck with the guillotine and get a high wrist, you could really start the strangulation with one hand. And that's what it looks like happened, because Nate was like switching from a arm in guillotine to to just a neck guillotine. And what you could do is you could put your arm all the way in this high wristed position, and you could switch in between guillotines that way, because you could finish both of them with that method. And it looks like that's the strategy Nate was employing, because when you switch from one guillotine variation to another, generally you have to let go of the strangulation itself, unless you get this really deep, high wristed position in there. So I think that's what was going on with Nate, and a beautiful, beautiful performance. And now for him to give his signature classic Octagon interview. Much love, respect, and I wish you guys all the best. Thank you so much for hanging out and staying with me. Oh, Ken Shaloy says, "Hey, son, that's my dad, the guy I love most on the planet Earth. He's been my day one supporter. I love him so much. Thank you, guys."